Hi, Mary. How are you?
Hey, Casey, I'm great. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I know your schedule is crazy these days, so I so appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me and talk about sport.
Absolutely.
All right. So, just a quick recap of the things I asked if you would chat with me about today. Going to talk about some of those core components of a Drupal support and maintenance partner. I know probably not your favorite topic, but cover the pitfalls if we decide we're going to skimp on support. Right. And the big differences between support on for sites that run on open source versus proprietary software, I think is a great topic for us to hit on. And then last but not least, we want to hear from you the characteristics of a great Drupal support relationship.
Got it.
Awesome. You mentioned that you might have a little takeaway from us afterwards. Is that still on the table?
I do. It sure is.
Awesome. So if you don't mind, I'm going to jump right into those core components of a
That's
Drupal support partner with my first question. What are some of those most critical factors that you share that we should really understand concerning Drupal support?
sure. So it's not really a short answer, but one of the things that I cannot emphasize the most is the importance of security. Drupal site owners, like you mentioned, sometimes want to skimp on their support and kind of wing it when it comes to applying updates to their site. This is never a good idea. I definitely do not recommend. But now the biggest question around security is no longer, if your website is storing financial data or protected health information, but to what extent would your company be impacted if your website went down?
Oh, wow. That's a great question we should definitely be asking ourselves.
Yeah. So I actually had a recent example of this last week. I had a client send me an email, subjects like in all caps, urgent, please help. And their website was being hacked by an IP address that was in Russia. And of course, everybody's like sent into a panic. And the funders of their website basically told them, if you don't get this fixed within the next like 24 hours, we're going to take your site down. And so there's no shortage of like bad actors that use website hacking as a hobby for them. They think it's a sport. So it's always important to keep your website up to date. Don't think, oh, I'll just skip this update and we'll get it on the next one. Because you don't think those types of things are going to happen to you, but I've seen it happen real time. So
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a little worrisome. So, what do we do to ensure that we're guarded against some of those security breaches, Mary? Because that definitely is concerning.
yeah, I think one of the most important things is to partner with a support vendor that is going to prioritize proactive security rather than reactive. With the client story that I shared with you, I had repeatedly said, over and over to this client, you need to apply these updates. But again, like you were mentioning earlier, they want to just skip on support and kind of wing it. So that was the result of that.
Wow. Yeah. So interesting. And we hope that doesn't happen to folks, right? But you said something really strong there that I wanted to pull out
Yeah.
proactive security monitoring
Yeah.
versus being reactive when something happens, right? Very solid approach. So I think my main concern for my site would be I don't know what I don't know. So can you share what resources do you use, Mary? How do you learn about security alerts and potential threats? That would be my
Yes.
biggest worry. I don't know
Sure.
what I don't know.
Yeah, I know, right? But we get all of our information straight from the source. So Drupal.org, they issue core and module security updates. It's typically on a Wednesday. And as we have protocols in place at Promet Source, where as soon as those security updates are released, we're notified. And we coordinate with our developers immediately. They stop what they're doing, they check our client's sites. And if the update needs to be applied to the client site, they immediately create a ticket and we go to work on it. So we have those. That's one of the examples of proactive security.
Yeah, again, super strong. I love that word. And now I know what those messages are flying across Slack every week, right? You guys are on it. Well
Yeah.
done. Okay, another question for you. let's say your support partner doesn't manage your hosting. Should my support partner and hosting provider, if they're separate, should they be engaged with one another? How do we bridge? That kind of seems like a gap. How do we make a bridge there?
Sure. I think if your support partner does not manage your hosting as well, they need to at least, be in contact with your hosting provider, be in sync when you're doing deployments, when you're doing updates on your site. Another big thing is whenever we apply updates to a client's site, we complete regression testing on the site each time as well.
Okay. I know just enough about regression testing to be dangerous. Do you mind to elaborate there?
Yeah, definitely. So that basically means that whenever we are applying an update on your site, we are essentially doing a spot check of the entire site, the main features that you use, making sure that the update doesn't impact or break anything on your site. So whenever we're applying an update, we're kind of essentially rechecking the site to make sure everything is going to function as expected when we do the deployment.
Got it. I love how you phrase that, a site-wide spot check. I think that would make me feel so much better about things.
Yes.
Okay, Mary, on to your least favorite topic, pitfalls of skimping on support.
We
I
don't like it.
know the big question for many people is that if a Drupal site was built really well in the first place, does it really still need so much support and maintenance? And shouldn't it just be like my car and just run? It should just run on its own in the first place, right?
But doesn't your car need maintenance too?
Okay, okay,
So,
fair
yeah,
enough, fair
that's
enough.
that's the direction that I'm heading in. Yes, you spent all this time and resourcing on building this awesome site that functions at a high performance level, and you want to keep it that way. So I view companies' websites. This is like their window into the organization. You want to keep your windows clean, basically. But stakes are high for security and preventing those security breaches. And so you want to partner with someone, again, the word proactive, that is proactively maintaining your site so that you're not in the situation that one of my clients was in, having to send all caps panic emails and potential of having your site taken down.
That makes total sense. And I love how you stated that my website is the window into the organization. It
Really is.
truly is. That's
Yeah.
how folks know who we are, what we do. And I also agree that our car needs support too and maintenance. So I appreciate all of your comments there.
Don't let that check engine light come on.
Okay, working on that one. Thanks. Okay, shifting topics a bit here. I'm hearing there are differing dynamics governing support and maintenance, open source versus proprietary sites. What are your thoughts on this, Mary?
Yeah. So I think it really depends on the client needs, but basically with proprietary software, the support it's wrapped up in the licensing fees.
Mm.
The pro to that arrangement is that there's minimal decision making on part of the client, but the downside is you get what you get. I mean, but on the contrast, websites that are built on proprietary platforms, they're supported and maintained by the company that owns the software, period.
Okay, I remember from preschool days with my little guys, it sounds like you get what you get and you don't throw a fit when you're on proprietary, right?
Exactly. Yes. But comparing that to the dynamic of open source platform CMS, kind of like Drupal, is one of the big ones. But Drupal sites also need to be supported and maintained. But the difference is in that setup, you get a choice. The site owners can work with the Drupal support provider who handles Drupal support in-house, or they can work out kind of like a hybrid arrangement that meets the client's unique needs.
Hybrid sounds like there could be a sweet spot for those who need it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can share a little more about what that arrangement would look like.
Yeah, definitely. So some clients will have in-house developers that they want to, do the basic things like doing the security updates, module updates. And then they'll rely on us for more complex features, maybe setting up an API, maybe a chatbot, something like that. So there is a possibility to set up what I would refer to as like a dual developer environment so that we can work in tandem with the in-house developers. But there's also the other option of, our company would do everything from the basic updates to the more complex features. So it really just depends on what the client's needs are. And we can cater to that in a unique way, which is what I would refer to as that hybrid arrangement.
Excellent. What I hear is choices, and I think we all love choices and options.
Yes.
So, going to twist us back here to more of a bigger picture.
Okay.
Drupal support and maintenance. How do site owners determine whether they're getting what they should from their support partner, Mary? Like, how do I know if I'm getting what I'm paying for?
Yeah. I think so. We've come up with 5 key factors that represent a great support partnership. We've already talked about some of these, but my number one is security.
I
Um,
figured.
yeah, I know. I've harped on this quite a bit, but again, proactive security, not reactive, so that you can protect your site against risk. Number 2 would be confidence. When you know that your website is in good hands, it's being taken care of, your support partner is maintaining it proactively, I feel like you can sleep better at night because you're not worried about it. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, the third would be growth. You want a support partner that is going to drive your organizational growth. Fourth would be expertise. A great partner would share their knowledge with you. One of the things that ProMet kind of recommends, or I guess informs the client of, is that you're going to get smarter just by working with us. It's kind of like me. I surround myself with smart people, and then other people think I'm smart. Is usually how it works
You
out.
are indeed.
And then fifth would be competitive advantage. You want a website that's going to be on the leading edge of what's new and next. As I'm sure you are aware, technology and the digital world is changing every single day. So you
Absolutely.
support partner that's going to help you keep up with that and be on the front end of it.
That is a lot to unpackage. So I just want to make sure I recap. Security, heard you loud and clear on that one, right? Protect our site against risk. I love that. Confidence, we all love to sleep better at night. I'll tell you, 3, 4, and 5 surprised me a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Growth, expertise, and competitive advantage. I'm not sure that everyone would expect that or get that from their support partner or relationship. I love
Yeah.
those. Those are strong.
Yes.
Okay, Mary. So we're going to start wrapping toward the end here. I know you have a lot to get to today. Do you have some thoughts that you want to share concerning the optimal Drupal support and what the clients should really expect?
Yes. Basically, you could approach your support partnership as just, a checkbox of services, or you can build it upon a relationship with an experienced partner that's going to power your website to the next level. In my mind, that's something that's going to drive your organizational growth. An optimal support relationship, it's going to be a partnership. The result is, a secure, fully functional website that offers your users a consistent experience, and a predictable process is going to fuel your confidence and your trust in your support partner. The team here at ProMet, we did put together a takeaway for our viewers today. It's basically a tool that you can use to evaluate your support partnership. I won't give away all the secrets that we have included in the document, but I will share that one of the number one things that you should look for in your support partnership is whether or not you get to see their cats when you have Zoom meetings with them.
I love that so much because I've seen the support team's cat photos come across a couple times.
Yes. So I realize that there are exciting parts about your website, which are typically, a redesign, the development phase, the launch of a new site. That's always like a very exciting time here at ProMet. We have launch parties and everybody gets really hyped about it. It's always a fun time.
It is. I love that time.
Yes. But not having support and maintenance for your site as a follow-up, it's risky. It's kind of like you have this car with these new shiny wheels. Maybe they're not completely put on properly and they look great and they work well for now, but knowing in the future, inevitably they're going to fall off. So navigating support, I mean, it's tough because it is deeper simply than just hiring an agency. And in our opinion, like I talked about the checkbox of services, but it's truly hiring a partner, a skilled and credentialed partner for sure, but one who cares as much about your new shiny wheels as you do. One of the most rewarding compliments that I've ever received concerning support is the fact that we are very down to earth. We're not going to talk at a very high skilled level where you're not going to understand what's going on. We're going to relate to you in a way that you can always understand what we're working on. And if you don't, you're going to get smarter while you're working with us. That's also something that I talked about earlier. But again, the two main things that I want to leave everybody with is concerning your support partnership is security and cats.
And cats. I love it. You also said another key takeaway. It was like a little nugget that I want to make sure I share with folks. You
Yes.
actually said transparency. I heard you say you're going to know everything we're doing with your site.
Yeah.
And when I work with folks, I think transparency goes such a long way. So that was just a little extra nugget. I don't know if you threw it in there or knew you threw it in there, but a good one.
Yes, certainly.
All right, Mary, you've spent a lot of time with me today, and I learn something new every time we make time to sit down and chat. So thank you for today, and looking forward to some more cat pictures.
All right. Thanks, Casey.
Thanks. Have a great one.
You too.